This is how I go out. I hit the rock, it goes pitch black. I'm flipping through the air and it's just dead silent. I'm falling, I'm not buckled up, I'm bouncing around the cabin. I'm like, God sent someone to take care of my family because this is obviously how I meet you again. But something rotated the blade just perfect where the blade hit and ejected me out the windshield into the avalanche. But he thought I was dead, I thought I was dead. Welcome to the Road to Nowhere podcast. Today we have Zach Helm and Sloth Pearson. Oh, and I'm here too.
Yeah.
Am I the host now?
That was it. I think that covers it. Oh, you get all the way in that eyeball.
It's the only way to live.
Oh my gosh. This is actually the first official guest we've had on the show. The only one I had my landlord on here, but we just kind of negotiated leases and argued for about an hour and a half.
I must have missed that episode.
Yeah. I don't think I even aired it. It was embarrassing, but I got the better end of the deal. I kept the pod room. So that's a pretty good deal.
That is a good deal.
So it's good to have you guys on.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
Yeah.
I'm getting emotional.
Yeah, you've been crying since the minute you got here.
Yeah. It's good to be back together with the band.
It is good to be back. We all lived together for, how many years were we together? 3 years?
At least.
Yeah.
I do have a confession. When we all lived together, me and Dave, our rooms were right next to each other. But for some reason, at night, you thought, hey, I got to wash my pants and never take off the belt buckle. And so you turn it on at like 12 and just pass out asleep. And I would just go in there. I wouldn't even take off your thing and continue. I would just press stop. And I hear you wake up in the morning. You'd be so pissed. You're like, my pants, my only jeans are still wet.
This dryer sucks.
Oh my gosh. It was too good.
You did that, huh?
That was me. So I have that confession. And
It's okay. I still don't take the belt buckle off.
I apologize. Yeah. It's your wife's problem now.
Yeah.
I actually went by our old house. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Did you dig up the time capsule?
No, this was the problem. So a long time ago, when we were all living together. We decided to do a time capsule. Do you remember what we put in it?
I remember there was a piece of Dave's hair.
There's a piece of my hair in there, isn't there?
Yeah, you had dreadlocks. And you put a piece of
We
your
cut
hair.
a dread out and put it in there.
Yeah, and we wrote notes. I can't even remember what I put in.
Yeah, I don't remember anything else I put in there.
The problem we run into is there's a big tree someone has planted, and it seems to be right in the spot where we put our time capsule.
Oh, really?
It was right next to the telephone pole, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
Someone
so. I don't
planted
know.
a tree next
I was
to the
planning
road?
on borrowing Dave's finder, his little because we put it in a tin can.
Is it
right?
tin? Oh, yeah. I got metal detectors.
Yeah, of course you got a metal detector.
New hobby.
I have many. All three of us can have one.
Where do you go looking for stuff most of the time?
I went looking down at San Rafael, over by Moab.
Yeah. Did you find anything?
Yeah.
What'd you find?
Treasure.
What treasure?
This is real?
Yeah.
Dude.
So, on our channel, nobody told me that they had gone to hide treasure there before. And so I got down there, and I felt like I found some treasure.
They set you up.
They punked me. But I believed it for like a year.
But that doesn't matter. Like, at
was
least you
old
had
coin.
that feeling.
Yeah, it was like coins and knives and all stuff from like World War II. Like,
Yeah.
I was convinced that some guy had just buried his stuff there and continued on.
San Rafael, where is this exactly?
San Rafael Flats is down on your way to Moab. It's that big, like, red-looking wave mountain that's down there.
But World War II stuff, like, why ways?
Fair.
We're not in Europe.
Didn't make any sense.
You're like, I've found Hitler's body
It
over
could be
here.
even farther. It was like a shovel and a knife and some coins. And I started reading the coins, and the dates on the coins were like 1984. That's weird. How did he get these coins here?
Dude, that's adorable. They set that up for you to feel good.
Yeah.
No, it's adorable that you believed it.
I still, part of me still believes it.
Hold on, did you create a hobby of doing this now? Do you go do it
I
regularly?
wanted to. They finally told me the truth because I kept asking them every day. Let's go find some more treasure. There has to be tons in these
Listen,
mountains.
Dave,
We found it the first 10 minutes.
There's no Santa Claus. Oh my gosh.
What was that last part?
Nothing. I didn't say anything. We're actually getting you with the same trick right now because this is not a real
Podcast?
It's not a real podcast. I'm not really recording. Those headphones aren't even
There's no
plugged
red
in.
light.
You can eat your microphone.
What other great memories do we have from that house?
We all thought things were just so good in Delm, but pretty much they
Delm?
weren't.
They
Delm
weren't.
was
Clearly.
great. Wait, things weren't good in Delm?
Well,
Delm, the land of Delm.
Do you not remember your part of the house
So
is
Dave,
called Delm?
Dave's name,
Delm's-
and then my last name's Helm, so we called it Delm.
Makes perfect
Makes
sense.
perfect sense. We spent some good
Oh, you're
times in
talking about
Delm.
the dryer thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was drama.
I thought maybe there's a serious problem.
No, there was no drama because he never quite figured out. Just like the treasure hunt, he can't put it all
I
together.
just found out right now.
Every time this dryer just turns off, and I don't know
I
why.
gotta throw
Rick,
my
it's going
headphones
on.
down and walk out of this podcast.
Oh man, the best was that our just our kitchen, just the supply, what we had in the kitchen. Like we just had an endless supply of. You had worked at
The
some.
Dew Tour.
Oh yeah.
Worked at the Dew Tour, was a camera guy running cable for them, and got to meet all the athletes. And then at the end of the day, they had nowhere to put all the Mountain Dew, so it came home with me.
Oh my gosh.
And it would every cupboard of the house had Mountain Dew. Diet Mountain Dew, regular Mountain Dew, Code Red,
Oh, it was
Baja
the best.
Blast, you name it.
We had it all, and I worked. That's at the same time I worked at Snellgrove, the ice cream place, where I would stack. I'd work in the freezer and I'd stack pallets. So we had unlimited ice cream. We had unlimited Diet Mountain Dew.
And a pool.
And a pool, but like you forget one thing. I don't know where this came from. I think one of you guys was all of a sudden on a diet kick. You brought home a freaking ton of diet soup,
That was him.
Oh,
and it
Diet
sat.
Soup was me?
Diet
Yeah.
soup sat in our cup. No one ever ate them. That was
100%.
it. But like I think you
wonder
had
where I
like an
got 'em.
idea, like, hey, I love soup. I want to lose some weight. Diet soup makes sense, and it was the most generic
I believe it.
diet soup.
And I don't eat soup anymore. Maybe that was definitely me.
You were done
Did
I
it.
hate soup.
at
now.
that point. And you remember we had an old VHS player that just sat there. And
Yeah.
we never replaced.
It was connected to the TV, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
It was the full one TV.
Yeah, it was full
VHS.
one TV. Do you remember the movie we had on? And we
Yeah,
just pressed-
Simpsons.
Simpsons. With the Simpsons.
Or was it 7 minutes? 7 minutes abs.
Yeah.
Simpsons. Oh, little insider baseball there, but the Simpsons. I don't know. We had a Simpsons tape. We made Simpsons tapes as a kid. We'd record them,
Yeah.
and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but at some point, someone had decided to record some naughty stuff on TV over the Simpsons video. So Dave one night's like,
Watching Simpsons.
"Oh my gosh, you have to tell it."
I was sitting there watching Simpsons. All of a sudden, it just, like when the tracking goes out on your TV and the black bar comes down? So Simpsons slowly goes away. It comes up, and this is to say it wasn't Simpsons anymore.
It's freaking Red Shoe Diaries pops up.
Yeah.
We also used
Great episode, though.
Were you? I can't remember if you were by yourself or was somebody else in there with you when it first happened.
I think I was by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you woke up the next morning.
That's why I had to tell someone.
Yeah,
Nobody else
you
knew.
instantly told us.
The next morning, you're like, man,
I'll be honest, I probably almost went to go wake up Zach and Delm.
you
You'll
also
never guess what just happened.
Simpsons, man. Oh, that was a classic tape right there. Also, we had Quigley Down Under was in that VHS player for months and
Well, I would
months.
start and fall asleep instantly, so I tried 100 times to watch Quigley Down Under.
But it was always in the kitchen. Were you passing out, like eating cereal?
It's just falling asleep anywhere I could.
We
There's
had
mold in my
very
room.
true.
Yeah, there's mushrooms growing underneath my beanbags. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't live in there.
Dave's. You had I think it was my parent. Was that your beanbag or my parents? We both had beanbags. It was
Yeah.
a big thing back then.
Yeah.
But under
think-
yours, we just never moved it, and
The shower started leaking.
Mm-hmm.
So then all of a sudden one day I noticed a little discoloration on the wall next to my beanbag that leads to the shower. And I just go touch it and my finger just goes right through. So I moved the beanbag and I'm talking like, there wasn't like little mushrooms. It was full, like you got the top of the mushroom sitting there.
you had full Mario mushrooms
Yeah, full
growing
Mario mushrooms
in
growing.
your room. You didn't even notice.
Which that probably only took like months to grow those.
Yeah.
So you were just breathing that in every night.
Just breathing it. They made a good salad though.
Yeah, you did make some great salads with those.
Soup and salad, diet soup and some mushrooms.
It was the mushrooms.
What gave me this girlish figure.
Well, that's what inspired you to go work for the mushroom factory.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you remember you
Oh
did
my
that?
gosh,
Good old
yes.
mushroom factory.
We had those stupid porcelain things all over our house and all over our yard.
Talk about art. I mean,
Yes.
the man made an entire business out of ceramic mushrooms, and there were sections in the warehouse. I was a birdhouse.
Yeah, you were.
expert.
My parents still have that birdhouse.
Do
you
they
gave
really?
to 'em. Oh yeah.
That's how I got in.
Yep.
Got in with the helms.
I was so jealous of that job. I went and applied. I remember one time you took me to the shop because
right.
like me and you were always like going to work. Like at one point we had a joint interview at one office job. This
Lexington Law Firm.
yeah, Lexington. This is a funny
This
story.
is Step Brothers. You
This
guys
is
went in together?
100%. Just like Step Brothers, we go in together. We both get the jobs. Eventually, Dave, like, yeah, he would just, I'm talking, we'd be right next to each other. He'd be passed out asleep when he's supposed to be taking calls. And eventually Dave quits. But that's on a Friday.
3 days after we started.
Right after. That's on a Friday. The next Monday, Dave shows up and just puts his headset on and starts working again. And the boss comes up to me. He doesn't even dare go up to Dave because he's like, I feel so uncomfortable. This kid's such a sweetheart. He's like, but Dave, like your buddy, he quit. Like he's not getting paid right now. So I had to go up to Dave. I was like, Dave, I know you're here, but like you're not actually punched in. You quit already. Like they're not paying you. And he just put his headphones off and waved to everybody, and that was it.
I did a final goodbye, you know?
Yeah, but I was super jealous of your mushroom job.
It was good. They had a big kiln right in the middle. Some guys would just roll the stems. Other guys made the top of the mushrooms. I made the birdhouses.
Yeah, I wanted that mushroom job though.
Met some really good people there.
Yeah, but then it went under or something because they said they couldn't hire me. Remember, I thought you said like,
Shocked.
Not my mushroom brothers.
What?
oh, we all had different roles at the house when we lived together. Sloth was more of he's the guy who would pay the landlord.
Father figure.
He was a father figure.
I was
for sure.
dad. I was getting mad at you for throwing things in the pool.
We'd love to just, yeah, we were.
I
I feel bad about it now. But
I-
Sloth
only-
would be like, get those chairs out of the pool, son.
I was the only one that was putting chemicals in dude soup, trying to keep it
Oh
clean.
man, one time me and Dave, they were like, Dave, we got these girls that are come get in the hot tub, and we go check the hot tub, and it's literally 130 degrees. Like it would melt your
Boiling.
face off.
That's how we got the germs out.
Yeah,
Boil 'em right
we had to
out.
kill
You don't need chlorine, just
we had
boil
to kill
it.
the germs. So we're like, these girls are coming over. We need to get the hot tub ready. And it was in the middle of winter. And so we just grabbed huge, dirty hunks of ice from our pool and just started filling this thing in. And it reeked. I mean,
about
they melted. It smelled so bad.
I can still smell it.
We did what we had
I
to
know
do, though.
that smell right now. I
The
know.
best is that we willed it in on a skateboard through the back fence.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got it for free.
We got that hot tub for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I
maybe
found that
maybe
It was like
paid
$100 or something.
Either way, getting that hot tub was really hard to.
There's a picture of all of us though moving it in there.
Yeah, it was
back when
great.
pictures were a big deal because
You'd have to go to the 1 hour
take
We
flight.
had to develop
Velvet,
it somewhere.
Oh man, what a great house! Another funny memory I have there is we had got up to go ride dirt bikes one morning, and I was just gonna warm up my motorcycle, and I kick it, and it slipped and it hit my shin. You remember this?
This is my favorite memory.
Well,
of the
you got
house.
to tell them about the bush first.
Yeah. So yeah, we have this bush, and no one ever felt like, we're a bunch of 20-year-old kids. We just wanted to pee outside.
Yeah.
So we just all ended up peeing the same bush over and over and over.
Right
We
out
just
the door.
we literally called it the pee bush. Anyways, this one random morning, I'm kickstarting my dirt bike, and you guys are with me,
Mm-hmm.
and it slipped off. It hit my shin, and I was like, "Wow, that hurt!" Like I remember being like, "This is painful," and like I kind of like got lightheaded, and I walked off,
That's the
and I
last thing
leaned
I
up over the brick. We had this brick wall next to the pea bush, and I leaned up to catch my breath. And then the next thing I knew, I was face down in the pea bush, like bleeding out of my face. I had passed out in the bush, and I just remember crying for Sloth. I was
Do
like,
you remember that? I was up front. Oh, we just hear Sloth.
"Help me,
Sloth."
We go back there, he's just face down in the bush.
help me!" Oh my gosh, that was brutal.
But we still went riding.
Of course, we still
Yeah.
went riding. Yeah,
Diehards.
we were diehards back then. You've kind of kept up your, diehard, gutsy image.
I
you
try
know?
to.
Yeah.
Mostly
What's it
the
like?
diet of, you get a chicken sandwich at McDonald's, 2 of them. You leave one on
On
the
the
dash.
car.
You eat one for breakfast, and then at 1 or 2, the sun has reheated your other one up, and you're ready to eat lunch.
Oh, that was the break. That was a meal of
don't-
champions.
I don't know how you never got sick doing that because you would do that every time. You'd go buy like a McDouble and a couple chicken sandwiches and just leave it.
Dude, those
for
you
10
buy the
hours.
McChicken, like Dave's saying, you buy the hot and spicy.
Those don't ever go bad.
Yeah, you put them out in the sun. If it's a 100-degree day in the desert, they reheat, and they're tasty. That mayonnaise is actually warmed up.
Oh, God.
Yeah, the mayonnaise is what makes it.
Yeah. No, we did what we had to do. I don't know. None of us had any money. Dave always seemed to he was like, you were kind of like the Kramer of our group. Like, even if you didn't have a job, you were always still able to buy like big bags of M&Ms and
Treasure.
Was it the treasure?
Yeah, the treasure hunting.
I want to follow you on this treasure hunt. Next time you do that,
Let's go together.
because I'm really into that actually. I follow a lot of people on YouTube besides you.
Yeah, you follow us?
I never followed your adventures in treasure hunting, but I follow these guys that are actually in Europe and they like dig up real World War II stuff from like the front lines.
Do you think their friends are just pranking them too?
100%. Everyone's just doing each other favors.
Let me know when you go treasure hunting. I can go bury some treasure somewhere.
I just want to be that team that's like, hey, we got to go out before Dave because we're trying to just keep Dave happy. Like, bury this thing.
This is how you keep his friendship. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to remember, there was a period where you worked really hard and then didn't work for like a year and just traveled. And what'd you do?
That was
I can't
like
remember.
my MO. I would just work and save the money just so I could go play forever.
But you played so hard. You bought like motorcycle. I'm like, what did you? You're like, oh, I worked on the temple 3 years ago.
Yeah.
For like a month.
I did heating and air.
HVAC
and we would work like 18-hour days and make overtime and didn't spend any money because we lived in the apartments down on temple grounds. And then I went riding. When they broke my collarbone and I had to quit that job. So I just had this,
I remember the collarbone. You always had some screws falling out.
Yeah.
I mean, you broke that thing. That in your hand. Remember, like, you would just show up with, Dave every day would just show up with a new gash. I'm like, you probably need to like go get stitches on that. Flesh is like falling off as we're trying to eat our,
glue.
I was trying to eat my diet soup and I got to look at this flesh wound.
It was this one. That's the one right there.
That was so gross. It was like flapping.
Do you want to know? This just reminded me, though, of my childhood of first meeting Dave, because we lived in the same neighborhood. We were probably only like 10 houses away from each other.
The jets going through you guys.
Yeah, this is the air.
This really picks things
army barracks.
What is that? I just remembered this, though.
Yeah, those jets.
Dave lived down the street from me, but we were never friends. We never played growing up. But this is when we were like,
for some reason that
young.
church separated the neighborhood. We weren't allowed to play with anyone on the other side of the church.
You were just on this side and I was on this side. But Dave, multiple times in elementary school, would just show up with his whole face a scab. He'd come to school and his whole face. And what was it? Did you skateboard or what did you do?
No, once was just a big playground tagging accident. Once was rollerblading. Once was a mountain bike.
You had a bad tag
I kid you
accident?
not, though. It was like his whole face.
Mountain bike was the
scabs.
worst one.
Yeah.
Mountain bike just hit a jump. Went sweet endo right to the face. On the landing, just slid all the way down. Because I was going to stick the landing, so I held onto the handlebars the whole time. Not letting go of those bad boys.
Yeah, you always had a chance to land it.
Well, you don't want to break your arm. Just hit with your face.
And the one was tagging. Molly Garfield.
Oh, damn her.
And I tag her like this. And I slipped on something. My hands are back here. Her face was to the ground.
Oh, man.
I could be wrong. It might not be Molly, but I'm going to give you the credit, Molly.
Yeah, Molly.
I'm glad, though, you confirmed that it wasn't just once. It was like every
at
year
least
you'd
3
show
or
up to
4.
school with just this hamburger face.
Yeah.
No wonder.
But it looks
Just
good now.
Neosporin all over one side, just oozing.
That's totally what it was. Like
Yeah.
your mom would just make you so it was not like a scab. It was that
Mom was
yellow
really,
goo.
She was really banking on me being a model, so she was worried about my face scars.
Let's go over some of your looks you've had since I've known you. Tell me like your phases. So like when I first met you, I don't know if you had dreads. I don't think you had dreads when I met you.
Well, you met me. I mean, senior year, picture this. I had sweater vest and bleached tips.
Oh yeah, you were sick, man. You were awesome. We played. Me and Dave played football together, and we were mostly just sideline buddies.
Yeah.
But you were stoic back then. You were like a little not shy. You would kind of just look forward, and I would just be popping jokes in your ear.
You were saying some funny jokes. I didn't need to say anything.
Yeah.
Chuckled to
We
myself.
just kind of like had a good time, but like then we didn't talk for a while.
That's because you were ditching practice for Christian, and I was standing on the sideline by myself.
I was always wondering why. I always wonder why I wasn't getting more playing time, and it was just ditching practices.
Belknap's buddy. Nice play out there.
Belknap's friend. The coach didn't know my name, so he called me my friend's name's friend. So Belknap's friend.
But no, I used to have like that curly hair, so when the bleach tips would grow out, I looked really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if it looked cool, but it felt cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But since I've known you, at one point you had a mohawk.
Yep, had an afro, mohawk, dreads,
Yeah.
bald, cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Now I've got the sweet receding hairlines, long hair, mullets.
You look good, and the beard's looking. It looks a little more like. Are you getting it trimmed?
I
right
trimmed
now?
it up recently.
It looks good.
Trying to look halfway decent.
Yeah. And so now, what is when? So
You look good.
Dave, obviously, is like our famous friend. You had a Discovery show. Did they make you wear your outfit, or was it like you kind of wore that and that became your shtick?
That's kind of what it was.
Yeah.
I was already wearing it. It's way easier to choose an outfit when you only have
that.
cut-off shorts in your closet. I got one pair of jeans. I wear those church and funerals, and sometimes weddings, depending
Classy.
on.
Yeah, church and funerals with the
Yeah.
jeans.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I would have guessed that he would have gone on to make a TV show and just be super successful.
That's what I want to see in the time capsule, because I know there was something in there about
Like Dave's-
Dave. Like, he's either going to be a bum or he's going to be famous.
Yeah.
And I've done both.
And he's kind of mixed
Yeah.
in the middle.
You're still in the middle a little
still
bit.
in the middle.
Give me the genesis of Diesel Dave. Like,
Where you want to start?
start where like you met Dave Sparks and you guys started to start this business and like how it grew to where it's at right now.
Okay. So we'll start with how I used to make enough money to go travel. That was my thing. So I was actually out and about. We were in Thailand and China. Went and ran a marathon on the Great Wall of China.
Yeah, I remember seeing pics of that.
Thanks to the diet soup, got me in shape.
Was that a hard
Just
marathon?
It would have been had I run the whole thing.
How long did you run?
You get to the top of the stairs, and you're at the top of the China Wall. So you're
like,
you're
I
taking
got-
pictures, you're doing selfies, you're
You
hanging
posted
out.
that and you're like, hey, I just did the marathon. I didn't
They're like,
finish.
sure, you need to finish the race.
I'm good. Oh my god.
But anyway, so I get a message from Dave there. I'd met Dave probably a year before that. We started like driveway tear outs, concrete removal, demolition company with excavators. Well, we broke one of the machines and kind of lost the business. So we went our separate ways for a minute. And I went to China. He started a family with his wife, and
You were an endurance athlete at that
yeah.
point.
Then I get a picture from him one day when I'm in China of a tow truck. He said, "Are you ready to come home and make some more money?" I said, "Yeah, I actually am." Anyway, made it back, and we had a little shop just down the street from here, actually off of 2600 North South. And I would sleep in the shop, pick up people's cars out of their backyard, fix them up in the shop, basically flip them for a couple $100, $1,000, whatever we could make out of it to pay the rent there and go to the lake and do whatever we want to do. And it just escalated to the point where he had his auction license. He'd buy stuff. He'd send me to California, pick up cars. We'd send videos back and forth of the stuff we're picking up. And sometimes they were goofy videos. And Facebook was pretty new to us. So we'd put them on Facebook to try and embarrass each other. And one of them caught wind. One of them of me blowing black smoke onto his
I remember the video.
new boat. Yeah, and people were like, "Oh, Diesel Dave's at it again," and it went viral.
Yeah.
and we'd never had that happen before, so we decided to start a business of selling bracelets,
Because
T-shirts.
from that video, you got invited to do Leno's show, right?
Yeah, well, we started doing pranks, and then from that one, we pranked a guy at Rockwell right up the street with that same truck that I was hauling back. We ran the exhaust tube into the
Yeah.
bathroom while Johnny Ritchie was doing his
Yeah.
business, and that's the one that Jay Leno saw, and he said, "Come on a segment called Prank You Very Much."
Yeah.
He brought a World War II mask, back to the World War II thing again.
Yep. You
Nothing,
found that
yeah.
treasure.
Yeah.
Sure. In Utah.
Yeah, with a
deserves
toilet
that.
paper roll on top of his World War II mask. Gave
Oh.
it to Johnny Ritchie and said, for the next time they prank you. And somebody at Discovery must have been watching Jay Leno, because then Discovery picked us up for,
Oh, so Discovery
First
found
season.
you from just
Yeah.
you guys being on that show.
yeah.
So you just got a random phone call and be like, hey, this is so-and-so producer from Discovery.
Yep. Bert is his name. And he just showed up with a camcorder and said, "We're filming a sizzle." Because we thought someone was pranking us at first. We were on Jay Leno for a prank show.
Yeah.
You sure Discovery wants to do a show? And he actually just showed up to the shop and said, "No, seriously, they want to do a show. We're filming you right now."
And so that was like your test to get a pilot, or was that the pilot?
So that was, they call it a sizzle.
Uh-huh.
To sell to the network, and we said we don't really want to try and sell a show to the
I've
network.
done a ton of sizzles, so yeah, I know what it is.
None of your sizzles really took off.
They sizzled
Bert
out.
said Discovery's already bought it, so you just basically filming a pilot,
Yeah.
and that led to our 9 seasons of Diesel Brothers.
9 freaking seasons,
cow.
dude.
It was a good time. It
That's awesome.
was fun.
I'm so glad it happened to you.
Me too.
Yeah.
Somewhere I didn't ever think I'd be.
Yeah. Well, you deserve it. That was awesome.
Doing donuts with Marshawn Lynch in the back of my
I remember
my
that.
lot.
You did like a razor for him, right? And you took
Yeah.
him out to the sand dunes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've probably come across a lot of celebrities. Have you had any weird encounters with celebrities where you're like, hey, this guy's
Not really.
They're all
Like
cool.
Marshawn's exactly what you'd expect. All the baseball players, for some reason in my head, baseball players are going to be a little bit more hoity-toity and not talkative, but they've all been
they're all
super cool.
Yeah, they're probably
super cool.
I think some of those athletes are usually down
Yeah.
to earth. They're not like actors, you know.
And I don't know why I had that perception of baseball players.
You weren't a very good baseball player,
No,
I remember.
maybe
So you're
that's why.
probably like, hey, these guys actually they're not even cool.
Yeah.
So like,
It's probably
I don't
my
even
own
wanna
personal problem on the inside.
yeah, there was some
Deeper lying issue
Work
there.
for
trauma
that.
with Little League for sure.
Chuck Norris was rad. Chuck
Oh
Norris was
yeah,
super
yeah,
cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have like moments where you're off camera where it's just you and Chuck? What'd you talk to him about?
Oh, I'm not allowed to talk about him.
Oh yeah.
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 Big, no disclosures there.
Yeah, he makes you sign NDAs
Good
just to,
idea.
just to have a casual chat.
Actually, he does a lot of Chuck Norris jokes.
Really?
This-
So off
really?
camera, we would do a bunch. Yeah.
So he's like just exactly how you picture him. He's either like breaking wood with his foot, or he's
Exactly.
just doing jokes.
You know, just Redbeard snuck into his trailer and tried on his black belt, and I don't know if he's still alive yet or not.
Is Chuck Norris alive?
No, Redbeard, because he tried on Chuck Norris's black belt.
Yeah, Redbird not my
Sent me a picture with him in his Chuck Norris's black belt.
Oh my gosh! Did that when you started doing those seasons? Was it hard to get used to like a camera being in your face and like having like lines? And,
At
like,
first, it was super different. It was like you're trying to do work,
yeah,
and all of a sudden there's a camera there, which makes you look at the camera like this anyway.
like Dave, stop looking at the camera.
Yeah, and then you're putting a bolt in, like, okay, we need to get that from a different angle. You
Yeah.
take that bolt back out and put it back in again. You're like, what?
Yeah, and how structured are these episodes? Because like, are you guys filming as you go, or do you have like a set outline, like a script of like where you're gonna go
So it's
with the episode?
probably about 50-50. Half the time you have a build in the shop that they're filming. So you can come in, you start working on it. They'll have to stop you to kind of piece the story together. They do what's called an OTF, which is on the fly interview. And you'll explain what you're doing, why you're doing it, who you're doing it for, and then you go right back to doing the work on the vehicle when it comes
Yeah.
to that scene. So those ones were more on the fly. But then they would come up with an idea, we need to go to this location and get this vehicle to do this race for this purpose.
Yeah,
So some days they'd have completely scheduled out, and other days it'd be, we're going to follow you along in the shop.
yeah. Sparks seems like he could just like he probably hit the ground running. He's like made for like just being in front of the camera.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know anybody better at like delivering information.
Yeah.
And knowing what's going on and like saying it in a way that everyone can understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great at that.
Yeah.
My boy Sloth right here was in episode Uno, right?
That's right.
One
Was
of
that-
them.
was that the very
I
first
wasn't-
episode?
I don't think it was very first.
But they remember
was-
Sloth's like, Dad, they're gonna mic me up. I'm getting all these lines, and I watched the episode, and he was. I mean, you were like in the background.
No, I was good though.
Yeah, you were good. You were wearing camo, I think.
I was. It was the airbag seats that you were blowing up.
Yeah, it was
and I
airbag
was
ones.
like picking who was getting blown up or something.
Yeah,
I do
that's
remember that.
yeah, that was good. What was your favorite episode that you guys did?
That one with Sloth.
Yeah. There was a lot
Pretend-
of
pretend
behind the scenes that was just
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah,
that
fun.
yeah.
It was
Pretend he's not
amazing.
here because we all know.
Oh, which one was my favorite? Oh, my favorite build was taking my El Camino and making it a monster
Yeah.
truck. That series of that build is my favorite.
Is that thing still around?
Still there.
The-
It's in the showroom.
That's
you know
awesome.
who actually asked me about that the other day?
Who?
Joe Pearson.
Really?
He's like, does Dave still have his Camino?
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Better
that,
come
I
see
remember
it.
when you bought that Camino at our old house.
Uh-huh.
And what? So it's orange now,
Yeah,
right?
we would put all the bikes in the back and go ride.
Oh my gosh!
We had
yeah.
4 bikes in the back at that one point.
Yeah, it's impressive.
I've never seen anyone else with El Camino with 4 bikes in the back.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, and you've like I've seen you do a bunch of stuff with like Pastrana and these guys and all these different events.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Super cool. First time I ran into Greg Godfrey, I was just starstruck.
Starstruck. 'Cause
mouth
we grew
wide
up going
open
to
like
those
he-
movies.
I watch every one of your movies.
Yeah.
Like, it was in Butte, Montana, I think, where I met him for the first time. He jumped a semi truck
Yeah.
down there. The same way with Travis. We'll go do these races with Travis, and I'm always like, man, how did I get here?
Yeah. How did I get here? That's I know it's so funny to see because me and you like and Sloth would just watch these movies with
Yeah.
Pastrana,
Yeah.
and next thing you know, you're hanging with these guys.
I know.
They're not. No one's gonna see.
Did you?
this
You
Dave.
guys just recently did something with him, didn't you? Yeah.
So, yeah. What did you do with him? Look at this. I'm testing him. He's a professional, dude.
Yeah.
Pastrana seems like the man. He seems like exactly
super
how
cool.
you see him on videos. Like he's just a good dude.
Yep. Just friendly guy who wants to hang out and like talk and be bros. And then,
Are you bros enough to like text him like randomly? Like, hey, what's
yeah,
up?
did you want me to text him right now?
No.
Can I send him a selfie?
Yeah, selfie.
Do a pod about you, bro.
Yeah, I'm just talking about you, man. Miss you. Yeah, that's awesome. What other action sports guys have you hung out with?
Jeremy McGrath.
What was McGrath like?
Well, we raced against him in like the Pro 2s. We had him on the street. I don't remember what we called the series, but it was for Monster we did down in Vegas.
Uh-huh.
And I actually raced against him.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you beat him?
I went into the oncoming traffic. Almost murdered him, but I did beat him, yes.
You did.
Nice.
Dude, that's awesome.
That was bragging rights.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't.
But I did also go into his lane and scare him into having to stop. It's part of my strategy.
Yeah, it's probably just like play chicken with them. Like,
Yeah.
hey, my life doesn't mean a lot to me. I know
it
yours
worth it,
does.
Jeremy?
Winning this is way more important
Yeah.
than
This is my
anything.
moment.
Yeah.
Because they say sometimes you don't want to meet your heroes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like, just barely. I went and played golf with the 49ers. Like, the organization has like a charity tournament.
Yeah.
So I met a lot of my heroes. But Jerry Rice is playing right behind me. And this guy I idolized as a kid. And he's like angry. Like most of the 18 holes.
really?
Yeah, he's kind of, because we're playing really slow. At one point, I stopped like he was right behind us and it was really slow. So we'd have a lot of interactions. And I go grab 2 bags of cookies and I put them in my cart and I go and tee off. And I come back. One of the bags of cookies is open, empty, and on the ground. And only person behind me is Jerry Rice. He's sitting back with smoking a cigar.
Lucky.
And I was like, I don't want to confront Jerry, but he just stole my freaking cookies, dude. I'm telling you. Like, there's nobody else that would have taken them. Like, I literally grabbed 2 bags of Chips Ahoy cookies, set them on the cart, came back, one of them's empty.
Did he have crumbs like on his?
No, but I couldn't
shirt?
accuse him like Jerry.
So you never did?
No, I never did. Like, I should have been like, Jerry, what the hell happened here?
Should have grabbed his cigar.
Where's my Chips Ahoy? So I met my hero, and it was semi-disappointing because he stole my cookies. Yeah.
I don't know. That's how many people have gotten their cookies stolen by Jerry Rice. Though.
Yeah. And it's not, I don't know if it's true, but it could be.
It is in my book.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it in my diary.
I used to read your diary.
Jerry Rice
when
stole
we
Jack's
lived in
cookies.
Delm, and it
Yeah.
was very erotic.
Yeah.
I can't believe the places you would go
And it was
to.
all about things that were happening in your life.
You were writing about
But right about what he was watching you do.
you were writing about me.
Exactly.
And I
His
was
cookies
reading
stole
about
by Jerry.
myself through your eyes. And it was fascinating. I was like, yeah.
It's an interesting journal. Like that.
Oh my gosh, this is too
You haven't
good.
got to the sloth chapters yet. Those are good chapters.
Oh, the sloth chapters.
When
my
you finally broke into the pool house.
Yeah, it's
We,
just-
we had some pool house memories.
we did.
Yeah, you
I
wanna elaborate.
Probably not.
Yeah.
We had a pool.
Some
Like,
of these should not be recorded.
so whoever is listening, we had this house and we drew names of who gets each room. And Sloth actually sacrificed and decided to go into the pool house, which we all would be using. So his room was essentially just like pool house / we were in the same room with him too.
Yeah. Well, I think we can out Jim on this because Jim was one of our roommates and I drew the master bedroom.
Yes.
And he drew the pool house. And all
Yeah.
of us had a conversation that said if Jim's in the pool house, it will be destroyed and nobody will ever want to
Yeah.
go in there.
Yeah, Jim.
Why would Jim destroy the pool house? I'll be honest. I came in like a month after we moved.
Yeah,
He always
you were
had-
part of those politics, but
Yeah.
we had to prearrange it.
So then I took one for the team.
Yeah,
and
because
took
Jim
the
had a
pool house.
girlfriend too, so it'd be hard to access his room. Sloth was
Kelly
like,
at that
Don't you
time.
remember
Yeah.
that? Like Jim's room was like, he had so much crap.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I do remember about Jim's
That's where I
room.
did all my music. Was in Jim's room.
Yeah, he used to make a lot of music. You were like a poet.
Yeah. So remember that. That's what I was doing in my off time. You were working at Lexington Law Firm. I was home making music.
I remember coming back from work and you had been sitting in Jim's room all day making beats on a GarageBand.
Yep.
Yeah.
GarageBand was my spot.
Yeah.
And Jim was the only one that had a real computer in
Yeah.
our house.
Can I write your memoirs? Because you've had so many just random chapters.
Yeah. As long as you play one of my songs.
I will.
Because I
play-
can't get them to play off MySpace anymore.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah. They're still on there, but I can't get it to play.
they're too erotic for MySpace.
Pool House Lovin' was it?
Yeah, I was gonna say Pool
Yeah.
House Lovin', Dane's Pool House Lovin'.
Dude, speaking of Jim, man, one time I was like, I haven't taken a bath in years. I've showered I've been showering for years. I'm an adult. I'm like, I'm gonna take a bath. I'm gonna chill out. And so Jim had the only bathtub, and I fill it all the way up, nice hot, steam's coming off it. I get in, I'm like, oh, this is so nice, and I'm like looking, my eyes just right above the water, and I'm just see these little clippings. Jim's pubic hair and every other body hair was just sitting on the top layer of the water. And I was just sitting there like
Staring
with
at
half
you.
my mouth. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in here. Like it was so calm. It was the most peaceful thing with the worst view ever. Yeah, so
Now, here's a question: did you get out, or did you just close your eyes?
I think I had that moment where like, I can't believe this is happening to me. I didn't just rush out like a spider I saw. It was like, yeah, this is gross. But I'm
would've
gonna
just closed my
slowly
eyes.
step out and pretend this didn't happen.
Well, and the reason that happened is because that was a like sleazy master bathroom with
Yeah.
like a stained glass window, and the tub was black.
Yeah.
You remember? So you couldn't see it until you got in there.
There's a
Yeah.
good chance those weren't gyms.
There is a good chance it could have
They
been.
were by everybody's.
It could have been the previous owners.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That might have been Dirty Joe's from across the
Yeah.
street.
Oh my god.
Crazy Joe.
Oh, Crazy Joe.
Crazy
Excuse
Joe.
me.
Yeah, that was one of my
I was
grocery.
rude of me to call him Dirty Joe. I just think about dirty pubes in the tub.
Yeah. Oh, I hope. I mean, Jim had a lot of body hair, but I told him about it, and he seemed to confirm that it was his. He's like,
Oh yeah, those are mine.
I didn't have to get it tested, but he's like, yeah, I didn't wash him down. Yeah, but when Dave first came by, like, we were gonna get a random roommate, and we're like, no, let's get Dave Kiley from high school. And he came by, and he was so just like, I couldn't tell if he was sold on the idea. He had his van. I'm like, he's just kind of like taking it in. I'm like, we need you. It was me and Kyle Daly that were there.
That's
showing
right.
you the house. We're like, dude, if we can just get Dave, like, it'd be so much better. And I think I finally like texted. It was just almost like getting you on this podcast. It was kind of like, he hasn't confirmed that he's going to come, but he's like, I'll just text him. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll stay there. And that was it. Like,
That was a contract.
it wasn't like he went there and was like, yeah, I think I could make this work. He was just kind of like, I'll think about it. I'll see what my mushroom schedule looks like. And Dave actually had the biggest real adventure ever.
That's what I think about doing every time you guys say European trip. I'm like, let's go do that adventure.
Yeah,
And you
that
just
was-
said back roads, and I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. Ours are
Committing.
more like, it's not like crossing rivers.
Oh,
And,
I just committed. Did I try to get me on a commit?
yeah. No, we
It'll
are
be
crossing
just as
rivers.
crazy.
We're going to deal with a lot of pirates and treasure. You bring your treasure hunter little,
Find real World War II
Ooh.
stuff.
yeah.
Was that before I lived in the house?
No.
That was after.
It was after. No, because I was very jealous. When you went on that ride, I had just started dating Liz.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, I had been invited. I didn't know those guys
Yeah.
great, but like, I
You
was
should
like,
have been.
I should have went.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. I would have been I would have held you guys back for sure. Because you guys all work on your motorcycles. I had you work on my motorcycles, but I knew you.
I would have worked on it while you passed out in a pea bush somewhere.
Yeah.
But to give the Cliff Notes version, we went to Florianopolis, Brazil, down by Iguazu Falls. And we were riding a bus one day. It's middle of summer down there. And it's hot. We're visiting my buddy Jim's mission. And outside the bus, since we're stuck in traffic, you can see these motorcycles just zoom, zoom, zooming by, getting to where they want to be immediately. And we're stuck on the sweaty bus. So we look at each other. We say, we're buying bikes tomorrow. And we'll go look at Jim's mission, and then we'll sell them and go home. So we go get bikes. It's great. We're cruising the road wherever we want to go. We visit Jim's mission. But the other guy with me, Nyan, also served in Brazil up in Manaus. So he said, why don't we ride the bikes up the beach and go see Manaus? And then we'll sell them up there and go home. We're like, yeah, it's a great idea. So for like 3 months, we cruised up the beach of Brazil, stay at my mission president's house, go see the jungle, go down the Amazon, fish for piranhas, do all the fun Brazil stuff. Visit Nyan's mission, and they're like, we can't sell your bikes here because you didn't register them to you. You'd have to drive back to Florianopolis to register your bikes. Well, that's like the equivalent of L.A. to New York. And so we're like, we'll just go home. We'll just take them home. So we just head north on our bikes towards the USA, thinking this is the greatest idea ever. Through Venezuela, Colombia, and there's a 200-mile gap in Colombia between Panama and Colombia. That's the Darien Gap. It's like swampland.
You can't ride there.
Yeah, I mean, you could try, but you could also get stuck at mile 50 and then be stuck in a swampland forever.
Yeah.
So we went to Cartagena, like the coolest old pirate port you've ever seen. And we go to the marina, and we're like, hey, anybody want to give us a ride to Panama? And this old Captain Pedro comes up out of his boat. He's like, bikes? Meet me here at midnight. We come back in the middle of the night, and nobody's there. And all of a sudden, we just hear the mast cable come off his boat and swing over. He's like, hook on your bikes. So this mast cable from his boat comes over to the dock. We hook it on the bike. He swings it out over the water, puts it on the bow of his boat, and covers it with the tarp. And he says, okay, get out of here. Be back in the morning. So he covers the bikes. Nobody knows that we're shipping them out of the country. And he smuggles us out of Colombia and into Panama.
Oh my gosh.
Now, there's a lot of stories in between.
Yeah, didn't
but-
you say you almost like you're like sunk, right?
Yeah, we hit like a coral reef or a sandbar or something on the way out because the tide was going out.
Yeah.
And the boat got stuck. And so we're diving under, trying to pull rocks out and get the boat free so we can finish going to Panama. But the tide was going out, so it was getting worse and worse. So he calls his friends from Panama to come over. And they come over in like trees that had just fallen down, and they carved out the center in their canoes. Once again, mast cable to the bikes, swings them out over the water and puts them into the canoes. And he says, get out of here. And that took the weight off of his boat, freed his boat. And we paddled to shore to Panama, never to see Captain Pedro again.
Oh my gosh.
I've got his phone
That's
number in my
epic.
passport.
Really? How much did you pay him?
I don't remember. It was like $1 million of whatever Colombia money is. So it was like
Yeah.
$100.
Yeah.
Wasn't that much money.
You crossed a lot of what was like the most intense border you guys crossed in that journey?
Every single one of them after that. The most intense was probably, I think, Honduras. Because we got there, we don't have any money. Well, we got arrested in Venezuela too, so it's a toss-up of which one was the craziest. I'm not the best one to recognize when I'm in trouble or danger. I just sit there and talk to people until they say, you're annoying, get out of here.
When they let you go?
Yeah. But Honduras, we got stuck in no man's land. We had just left whatever countries before that, Costa Rica, I think, or whatever's next.
Somebody speak Spanish.
Somewhere down there.
Yeah.
But we had no money to pay the fee to get into the next country. And they just said hard no. They're like, no, you can't go in. Well, I'm walking in no man's land, and I find a roll of money. I'm talking like a huge, big roll of money. Had to have been hundreds and hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands. But my conscience kicks in. So I'm like, I can't just steal this money. So I go to the bank. I'm like, hey, I just found this outside. They're like, oh, we dropped it. We've been looking for that everywhere. Thinking that they would give you like some sort of reward and let us across the border. And they're like, okay, thanks.
Oh my gosh.
No,
You got no benefit from
none.
having a conscience.
And they still wouldn't let us go across the border. And at that moment, me, Jim, and I were looking at each other. Clouds rolled in, and a huge lightning storm was coming, and everyone was hiding for cover, including the guards that were in the shack. We just fired up our bikes and just let her eat.
You just snuck over?
We were not even sneaking. We blasted the border right in front of the guard shack.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Into Honduras behind a couple of semi trucks, and they never caught us.
I thought you were going to say you were going to, like, the minute they said, oh, yeah, thank you for the money, you would just put over your bandana and be like, this is a robbery.
Give me all your money. I know you have some.
I know. Oh,
Make sure we just saw your face.
Yeah.
And there was no way that was their money, by the way.
Yeah.
No, probably
Yeah.
not. Well, it was rolled up nice. Like it should have belonged to a bank.
Yeah.
And so you guys made it all the way to where did you guys go? Where did you end?
Back home.
All the way
Made
back,
it
all the way to Salt Lake?
Utah.
Wow.
9 and I stopped in Las Vegas because that's where his brother lived. We were
Yeah.
trying to make it home for Dave Wainsgard's wedding. The only reason we had to go home
can't miss
was
that.
Erickson's wedding and Wainsgard's wedding. 9 and I pulled up to Wainsgard's wedding 5 minutes after he left in the limousine.
Yeah.
We had just missed him. And we're like, why didn't we stay in Brazil?
You were dedicated wedding because you played bass at my wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd do it again too. You should do.
Well, maybe
you
for
should
my next wife.
No, redo your vows.
I will.
Yeah.
If you write them, just like you wrote your memoirs. Or
Tell Jim to
your
open up
diary.
his apartment so I can get on his computer and do some garage band
Man,
stuff.
the smut you would write over in your diary. It's incredible. Dude,
I learned it from the Simpsons video.
me and Sloth have, like, almost had to live vicariously through you and all your adventures. What's been like the most dangerous thing you like to where you're like, oh man, I could have died?
Well, there's been lots of times where I should have died.
I was going to say this year
Yeah.
or
Yeah, the Snowcat one I should have died in. You hear about?
I remember listening to that one. That was epic.
Because you guys know that area. That's up by the Beaver Pond with the big cliff.
Yeah.
And so Dave was plowing the snow road, and it was me. So Dave's driving, Charlie, his daughter's in the middle, and then me, and we're just plowing down the road. And it was at sunset, so the snow was kind of getting warm, and we sloughed off the side a little bit. We're not going to put Charlie in danger, so we walked back to the cabin to get the other snowcat because you always have two snowcats. Yeah. And we leave Charlie there. So Dave and I go back. We chain up the one that's falling off, and he starts to pull me backwards. I'm driving the one that was off the trail. Well, as soon as he tugs it tight, we triggered an avalanche that pushed me farther, and the chain snapped. Put the blade all the way down to try and stop me, but it was all loose, flowing
As
snow.
you're moving, you put the blade down?
Yeah, which is what you should do if
Yeah.
to grab ground, but the snow was so deep that it was avalanching that there was nothing solid to put the blade into. And it just starts sliding down the hill. I hit a rock, and I face uphill, so I'm looking right at Dave in the whites of his eyes, and I know that cliff's right behind me, and I'm going probably 20, 30 miles an hour at this point, getting faster and faster. And that was it. I was like, this is how I go out. I hit the rock, it goes pitch black, I'm flipping through the air, and it's just dead silent.
Because how big of a drop is that?
It's probably 100 feet at least.
And it's all rock faced, right? So it's like...
Yeah, so it's slanted. There's probably about a 100-foot drop, and then it hits rocks and goes again. Well, so sorry, runny nose. Gets my emotions going on. I'm falling, and I'm not buckled up. I'm bouncing around the cabin. I'm like, God sent someone to take care of my family because this is obviously
Yeah.
how I meet you again.
Did you have kids at that point?
I had one. I had
Yeah.
a sailor. But something rotated the blade just perfect where the blade hit and ejected me out the windshield into the avalanche. And then I was in the soft snow and I just swam up out of the avalanche and came to a stop. I'd bumped my knee on the blade like barely,
Yeah.
but to survive that fall and
It was pitch black
Wild.
at night, right?
yeah, pitch black.
So how far were you buried when the avalanche ended?
Up to chest. I'd made it out to the top.
So you're just looking around like,
I'm sitting
holy
there.
crap.
I can look up. I can see the snowcat that's just mangled. I know Dave's up there screaming.
Yeah.
There's no service there ever. I get on my phone and I have bars of service. I call
Wow.
Dave, and he denies my phone call.
He was,
So I call him again. I'm like,
yeah.
bro, I'm all right. He's like, I was just about to run down the hill. I said, don't run down. Everything's fine. Find a way around.
Yeah.
But he thought I was dead. I thought I was dead. And then went back to the cabin. We weren't going to tell our wives. They knew.
Yeah.
And then I found out a week later I was having my second baby. So it was probably a good thing I stuck
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is nuts. It's pretty cool though.
That's probably the closest one.
But did you black out? Did you get like knocked unconscious at all at that point? Were you coherent the whole fall? You were
Coherent
just
the whole
kind of like
time.
ding, ding.
Fully aware of everything.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
That's incredible.
Yeah, how many kids you guys got now?
Oh, man.
3 and 3? 4. You have 4.
I have 4.
I got 3.
Yeah. How come our kids never hang out? That's my real
don't know.
question.
Dude, your kids are hardcore. They're like on motorcycles. My kids are like painting pictures and stuff.
My kids like to paint pictures.
No, I'm gonna bring them over because you live close by. I
super
never
close.
remember exactly where you live. It's like kind of hidden. You're a big celebrity. You put big trees all around your
Yeah,
property.
huge trees.
Expose his address.
Put
Let's
them there
hear
like
it.
60
You have
years ago.
cameras everywhere. Because last time I tried to get on your property, like I heard all these sirens and stuff. I'm like, oh, Dave doesn't want to see anybody.
Those were welcome parties. Come
Come in.
Welcome, sirens.
Welcome. No one's coming to my house. My welcome sirens aren't working.
What do you see? What's next, Dave? Like for the Diesel Brothers, what are you guys up to now, and where do you see it going?
We do a lot of YouTube content. We're doing rescue missions. Like if someone slides off the road or excavators are broke down or heavy equipment needs hauled out somewhere, we go do it.
Yeah.
Try to tackle the tough tasks. Or if people are missing, we do a lot of missing persons cases.
So you think your team would go out and like set the body out in front of you guys so you could come across it, you know, just like you're treasure hunting.
I know.
So it's like, oh,
They haven't done it yet.
I found it. I found Susan Powell.
Yeah. Maybe that's the next step.
That's the next one.
We should get a group house together.
We should.
Yeah.
Just go buy the house again.
We don't want to break your heart. Me and Sloth, we actually have a
Yeah.
house.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So I can
No,
move in.
It's pretty full. And Delm
We
Delm fell. The
let's-
civilization of Delm.
Let's draw lots and see who sleeps
yeah,
where. You
who
know?
sleeps where?
There's a lot of rules now with how you run the washer and dryer and everything.
I'm fine with that, but can we still throw stuff in the pool?
Yeah,
Because I still need to yell at somebody.
He's softened on the pool. I want to thank you both for coming on. I love you both.
Love you, man.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
We should do it more often.
Anytime I can get. I mean, I've been texting you for like a month and a half. Like, babe, I have this podcast. Like, I want you to come on, chat, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm in Kentucky, like skydiving with freaking Chuck Norris or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, Trump's trying to.
That guy is cool. Tim Kennedy's
Elon
cool.
Musk.
Are you buddies with him?
Name dropping.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice stole my friend's cookies. It's wild.
Do you ever do the podcast like this every once in a while?
We do podcasts, but there's usually so many people on it. I sit and listen.
Yeah.
It's nice to chat up with
yeah,
the
'cause-
boys.
yeah, people like. Yeah, it's nice.
I like this.
You do have a nice voice.
Thanks, man.
Not as nice as Sloth's.
No, nobody's as nice as Sloths.
You know those meditation ones where they talk to you? I just want Sloth's voice.
Go ahead, give us a
Breathe in.
meditation.
Deep breath in. Now release.
Man.
Very good.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I've been meditating, by the way. I've been trying it. I do, it's like 15 minutes and you just kind of sit there and you let your brain go wherever.
Mhm.
There's no like focusing or anything, but it's just like a little bit of breathing. But it is kind of nice. You kind of just let so much weird stuff. My brain is like,
Trust me, I do that.
It-
I can't focus anything when I meditate, and I don't know where it's supposed to go, so I let it
Yeah.
go anywhere.
That's where
It's
that's
hard.
That's what I'm doing. Is like I'm letting it go wherever it wants to go. And so like you're supposed to have like this mantra of something, and then you just kind of let it. But I ended up like just thinking about weird, mostly movie plots, like the movies that couldn't get made.
Horseman.
Yeah, Horseman. You know,
Those are my favorite days when we used to make movies. Let's make it a goal. Let's make a video
remember
together.
I remember Cole called me up. He's like, "Hey, we want you to like come up with like an episode for your guys' YouTube stuff." And I was like, "Well, I want to be creative here." So I'm like,
This was a really good idea.
and I was like, pretend we need to make a character that's like your old high school buddy who's just a wild card. He comes back and he's just like, you hire him because you just got out of prison or something, and you kind of like feel bad for him, but he just is like screwing up the shop and like just like making a fool of himself. Eventually, by the end of the episode, they have to like let him go again.
Yeah.
But you guys never filmed it, so
No, my favorite idea you had was when Tiger King was huge, and you were gonna have me be the gerbil king.
Oh
And
my
just all the
gosh,
ger- all
dude!
the
Yeah, the
gerbils.
gerbil king. That would have been good. The problem, I forgot about that. The problem with that, it was so like the Tiger King was big for like a month.
Yeah, you had a
would've
short window.
If we would have capitalized like fast,
Yeah. Let's start a YouTube channel, just weird movies, and let's make a movie.
I'm down, dude.
I'm in. I'll just constantly be the weird guy in the background.
You can help us meditate.
I'm super glad you guys came in, though. Thank you.
We're gonna do
This
it
is
more.
fun. Let's do it some more. It's fun.
Do it.
Let's pick a hot topic for podcast next time and do a video.
Oh,
Maybe
dude,
not
I
the
love
same
that.
day, but same.
Should I like have a theme thing on the podcast where like people come here and they always like they get their like there's a treat for them every time? Like
Yeah, maybe out of the
chips.
candy machine.
Yeah. What about Doritos? If you're just eating just loud chips. Yeah, and that's like what we're known for.
Well, you already have the jets that fly over mid podcast.
Yeah.
Damn, those jets, dude. Those were loud. All right, that's it. I'm done.
That was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Let's cheers.
Thanks Monster for the sponsorship.
Yeah. Hey, you actually could get us a Monster sponsor. Use your.
Yeah, you gotta probably actually
you
be
have some
careful. Do you
pull.
have some other sponsorship?
You have some pull.
All right, we got Monster. We're good.
Yeah. There it is.
Boom,
Cheers.
baby. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.